Alright guys, hello and welcome back to another episode. You wouldn't believe where I am, basically halfway across Australia right now. So obviously heading over to Queensland. Now, this is a bit of a different video. It all kind of winds back to how we ended up here. Basically, we were meant to leave quite a long time ago, and a week leading before the trip, I had some dramas with the car and then sorted that out, thought we were all good, and then had some more dramas. So basically this episode is about just the journey getting to this point. Now, the first thing that happened, I can explain what went on, but basically I wasn't filming at all. It was just one of those days where everything was going wrong. So what I wanted to do is put together like a little cartoon, little episode to try and help narrate that day. So I got a few quotes actually, a bit of a behind the scenes story right now. Turns out it's about $5,000 per minute for like some Australian high quality cartoon animation basically. So I had to outsource to the dark wide web. So this clip was done on an app called Fiverr. Look, there's people with different talent everywhere. So I gave it to a bloke who, his first language wasn't English. So basically it was a bit of translation happening there, but this is basically what I got back, and hopefully it will help you tell the story of that crazy day we had. So check it out.
It was a Tuesday morning, 1 week we were meant to be leaving for Queensland. Now for a while I had some issues with the patrol. It had some death wobbles on the road. It was shaking all over the place, pretty much undrivable, and it was getting worse. I decided to book in at my local suspension joint to get the thing checked out and possibly have a wheel alignment. Now I left it with the boys. They called me back at 5 o'clock and said, "Sam, your car's ready to go. It's all driving better. Happy days." Now I couldn't go down there to get the thing picked up that night because I didn't have a car, but the next morning my dad could drop me off on the way to work. Now he was at work at 7 o'clock, but the shop didn't open till 8. So I'm sitting there for an hour to start with before the place even opened. But when I get there, one of the boys says, "Look, do you want us to throw it up on the wheel alignment machine? A customer's just cancelled his appointment and we didn't get a chance to do it yesterday." I thought, yeah, might as well. It might help the cause even better. So they threw it up on the machine. It was meant to be a half an hour job. 2 hours later, someone comes out and says, "Car's ready to go," but I couldn't get it up to speed to check the death wobble because of the rear diff noise. I go, "Huh?" The guy looks at me. "Do you know anything about this noise, sir?" I went, "Nope, but let me take it for a drive. I'll tell you straight away if there's a new noise." So I jump in the thing, around the first corner, immediately, it was horrible. It was like, like it was a terrifying sound. So I head back in, we throw it up on the hoist and the boys have a look at it. Playing around, we pretty much determined that there was an issue in the rear diff. Crown, pinion, spider gears, who knows what. Look fellas, let me see if I can baby the thing home and I'll get it sorted back there. Get back on the road, the thing was just too undrivable. It wasn't just the way it was driving, it was the people staring at me because of the noise it was making down the road. I mean, I was a hazard to them. So I had to pull over. I had to call my brother who was luckily at home and said, "Bro, can you come pick me up with the trailer? I've just my car's just broken down, man." And he's like, "What? Yeah, man, sure. But wait, there's some stuff on the trailer. Give me a few minutes. I gotta pull the stuff off and I'll come down." I was like, "Oh yeah, get here when you can." An hour later, he'd finally pulled everything off the trailer and got it down to me. Now it was time to load the thing. This is where a bad day gets worse. So firstly, we put the car on forwards. The weight was just too wrong. There was too much weight over the tow ball. It was that heavy that it pushed the trailer suspension down and the guards were hitting the wheels. So I couldn't even move anyway. So I had to get the tools out, pull the guards off the trailer so we could try again. Now this time we turned the patrol around so we could get the weight distribution a bit better on there. But this trailer, now it was designed for rally cars. It wasn't that wide. This patrol is definitely wider than the trailer. So as I'm going up, both wheels go up on the rails. And I didn't know this at the time. Normally I head back and hit the front of the trailer. You can feel it stop. And I'm driving backwards waiting to hear or feel that end of the trailer. But because I'm on top of both rails, the thing just keeps going. My brother goes, "Bro, look out!" And the car continues to roll off the end of the trailer onto the drawbar, hard up against my brother's Ranger, and now I'm in a very precarious situation. I was up shit creek with this one. So I jumped out, quickly put the hubs in. Hopefully this thing can crawl back up, and it just makes it. The wheels skid a little bit, and then bang, she pops up on top of the trailer. Crisis averted. So I come off, reposition. This time I make sure that one wheel stays in the rail, but by doing that, looking at the other side had come off too much, and as I reversed up, the wheel actually fell off the up ramp. I was like, damn it. So I quickly went forward to reposition, but in my urgency and hurry to get this done, I forgot that the ramps that take you up have a little pin sticking out. And you guessed it, tore a great big hole in the sidewall of my tyre. She was dead flat. Now I've got a flat tyre to deal with. Forget about the trailer. Here's the new issue for today. So the only jack we had was my brother's little cross jack in his Ranger. He's like, "Hey man, I've got a jack in my car." So we pull his jack out, start lifting the thing up. We come up just enough, the thing rolls back off the jack, and we're like, damn it, we'd broken the base plate of the jack. So now I had to take the car off the trailer, jump in my brother's car, go to Super Cheap Auto, buy a new jack, come back, and then reconnect the trailer onto the Ranger, give him the jack, and we try again. But you guessed it, guys. Yeah, you guessed it. As we were jacking it up, it was looking good. We got the wheel off, but as we were putting the new wheel on, we needed to go a little bit higher, and you wouldn't believe it. We were 10 millimeters too short. The jack wouldn't go high enough and we couldn't get the wheel on. You're kidding. So we had to let all the air out of the spare tire to push it down to get it onto the axle, re-pump that tire up, and then we were back to square one. Time to load the car on. This time, Zach was spotting me left and right. We reversed the car on, got it strapped down, and then it was one of the most precarious drives home with this huge patrol on the back of the trailer. And then we got home, pulled the center out, and you guessed it, smashed ring and pinion. We're gonna get a few bucks from the Tooth Fairy for this one. This all happened 3 days out of our trip to Queensland, and you wouldn't believe it. This was only the beginning.
All right, so that was basically the craziest day getting to that point, and I thought we were all sweet. So I fixed it, fixed the diff, put it all back together, and then we ended up leaving. Now, when I went across, we had some dramas with the gearbox. It wasn't quite handling the weight of the trailer. It was getting a bit hot, ended up dumping a bit of its fluid. So I spun around. We're only maybe an hour or two out of Perth, and I thought, look, got to go back and check this thing out, make sure it's all healthy before we punch into the middle of nowhere and have some major dramas. So the thing was still running fine. We got home, pulled it out, and I just had this epiphany. I was like, nah, I want to go back to manual. I tried the auto for as long as I wanted, so I went back to manual. But the only thing, I had all the bits and pieces I need for that manual conversion apart from the clutch, because I've done a few major upgrades on this. We've got new heads, we've got the twin snorkels, a new fuel pump, and it's running a lot more power. And I knew that the clutch I had in there was gonna be kind of the weak link. So I had to hit up my mates over at Centerforce in Arizona, and a massive shout out to them. They were able to completely machine up a brand new flywheel and everything for it to go in. So here's a bit of footage of me getting that thing ready to put back into the car so we can get here right now. So back to past Sam. Yes, thank you Future Sam for that. The good news is, if that is Future Sam talking and he is driving, means this whole thing has been done. But I'm here right now in the shed with the car, with the gearbox that's out. So basically, I put the auto in this for the last tour we did, and I was planning to change it back to manual over in Queensland, but I decided last minute, it's time to put the manual in before I drive over. Look, people are saying, why don't you like the auto? It's literally personal preference. I tried the auto because a lot of people told me that it was like the perfect fit for these LS motors. I did enjoy it, but it really just, something was missing, and the clutch pedal's still there, and I still just want to touch it every time I change gear. So the manual's going back in. I've decided to do it before I head over so I can try another long drive with that type of setup. So just this morning, I went and picked up this new clutch. It's from Centerforce over in Arizona. Now this is a twin plate DFX clutch. I originally got it from Mark's 4-Wheel Drive over in Victoria, so they import these. Basically, it's a special one-off design order deal with Centerforce. So they design the flywheels to suit the LS and Patrol conversion, but the actual clutch disc DY80 setup is using the Centerforce's design. So it's an awesome clutch, and Mark's 4-Wheel Drive do sell these twin plate setups, but this one in particular is the first of its type. They've tried this new metallic DFX material, and what it does, it has the same clamping force and the same basically power rating, but it can hold a lot more heat and pressure. So it'll handle, if it does happen to slip at all, it'll handle that heat, and it's just got a lot more longevity as well. So it's the first one they're trying out, and big props, big shout out to the guys over in Centerforce. We were discussing this a long time ago, and then I pretty much dropped it on that I needed it now basically. So it was time to do the conversion, and they basically put this thing together, machined up the flywheel, got it sent out within a week or two, and it's right here on my doorstep. So a big shout out to Centerforce over in Arizona for that. All right, so having a look inside here, obviously we've got the first important documents. It tells you about all the different, I'll put that up there. Important documents, so it's like different torque settings, installation method, all that. We've got our diagram, so every single clutch is tested, pressure tested, shimmed, balanced, machined, everything ready to go. You're obviously given a bunch of ARP bolts for the flywheel, a couple of those bearings, bushers to go in for your crank, a aligning tool, and then the clutch itself. So it comes pre-assembled, but basically we need to pull this all apart, bolt the flywheel on, and then put it back together in the same way. All right, while I've got it apart here, I just want to draw your attention to some of the differences. This is one of the metallic plates that actually engage the clutches. So you can see that it's a different design here, a different compound. So that's one part. The other thing I want to look at is the flywheel itself. So here's the old flywheel and here's the new one. One thing you can see straight away is we've got these vented holes in there. Now that keeps it a lot cooler, and that's what helps with holding that extra heat. Now one cool thing that I've just noticed, the boys over at Centreforce didn't tell me they were doing this, but they've actually machined in a built not bought logo into the middle of the flywheel there. So that just makes it a little bit more special that this is a purpose-built flywheel for the built not bought truck. Absolutely awesome. All right, there we are, the clutch is installed. So like I said, Centreforce is where they come from, but if you do want to get one for yourself, check them out from Mark's 4-wheel drive, give them a buzz and they can get you that twin plate one, or even maybe specially order one of these new compound discs. So I got the last few things to finish off, bit of strap for time. So what I'm gonna do, jump onto Supercheap Auto's click and collect, basically on their website. I can order what I need to get, run down there and just pick it up. So I need some fluid for the clutch, some new gearbox oil as well, a couple of little tools and bits and pieces, and also I'm going to change the radiator fluid as well. And then we'll be hitting the road to Queensland. So I'm going to duck down, get that stuff, get this thing bled up, put together, and then we're out of here. All right guys, we're back into a manual. Absolutely awesome feeling to be back into a manual. So with this new clutch, basically what we're going to do is bed it in. So for the first sort of 1,000 Ks, you want to do a lot of start-stop driving and not put your foot down with full power. So that's what I'm pretty much going to be doing. Obviously we're heading over to Queensland, so I won't be giving it shit anyway. Basically cruising over with the trailer. Today I'll do a lot of driving just around town, start, stop, but it's feeling pretty good so far. The pedal's nice, it's not too heavy, and it's definitely working a lot better than the last one. So back to you, Future Sam. Thank you, Past Sam. Welcome back, Future Sam. So obviously good news, we're here now, so I trust you that it all worked out well. So basically that was sort of a wrap up of the crazy experience to get to this point. We're on our way to Broken Hill at the moment. That's the next stop. So fingers crossed that doesn't mean we're going to be broken on a bloody hill. News as well, obviously we're going over to Queensland now. I'm heading there for the Brisbane National 4x4 Outdoor Fishing and Boating Expo. So on the 27th to the 29th of March. So that is the first event that's going to be happening when we rock up there. So apart from setting up a workshop, that's the first thing I'm going to be concentrating on. And I've got a smashing deal for you guys. If you want to save some bucks on your tickets, order them online, skip the queues when you get there, use code BNB20. I'll put a link down below with those discounted tickets, and I'd love to see you there. Not long after, a week later after that, there will be the Show Your Dirt event in Melbourne. So that's on the 4th of April. Now there's a Facebook event page. I'll drop that in the link below. So if you are in Victoria, come down and check it out. It's a massive show and shine event for 4-wheel drives, heaps going on. So I'm looking forward to that for the first one in Victoria. And that is about it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that cartoon was something different. Let me know in the comments what major drama or breakdown you had just before you went away on a trip, and did you get it fixed to leave in time, or did it delay the whole thing? I'd love to hear it. See you in the next episode. Please click the button to your left if you want to go and check out the latest merchandise we have on our website. If you missed last week's episode, click down below to see it, and most importantly, on the far left, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.